What's going on, guys? Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you so much for being here and taking the time out of your busy day to watch this video. We are going to pinpoint some major travel trouble spots on the other side of Thanksgiving. I'm certified meteorologist Jonathan Kagas, and thank you for being a part of the best weather community on YouTube. If this is your first time finding us, stick around for a couple of minutes, and if you like it, do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. We're going to talk about the big snow. That is also coming down the pipeline, and that's the reason for those major trouble spots, especially around the Great Lakes and parts of the Northeast. And if you're interested in just the snowfall amounts, we're going to have that closer to the end of the video. I'm going to put that in the chapters as well, so you can skip ahead to the different regions. I know your time is valuable. I'd love you to watch the whole video, but I know what's realistic, and if you want that, that's going to be towards the end. Click the links in the description. All right, so we're going to start with Thanksgiving Day itself. You see here most of the country in the green in terms of travel. It's once you start to get to the mountains because of the westerly wind, and I'll show you the weather setup that goes with this in just 1 second. Wind out of the west, upslope snow from places like Georgia into the Carolinas, especially the western-facing slopes. That's going to be West Virginia into Virginia, Pennsylvania. We go orange in parts of the Northeast as well. That's going to be because of a much bigger system that we've been highlighting. And again, I'll show you that spot in just 1 second. But again, if you're traveling into Vermont, into New Hampshire, into Maine, this is where we're really going to be dealing with the biggest problems on Thursday. Then they start to expand a little bit as we move into the day on Friday. So here's the deal. We had that big area of low pressure riding up the northeast coast, the I-95 corridor, and then back out to sea. Snow is going to be likely in parts of northern Pennsylvania, through upstate New York, through most of upstate New York, into Vermont, into New Hampshire, into Maine. I know there was a lot of buzz on social media. We talked about this, but the I-95 corridor is not going to get snow from this. So the big cities like Philly, New York, Boston, you guys were never going to get it. The hype that you saw online, those were some of those rogue model runs that people were sharing. That was never going to happen with this system. It's not the proper setup. Nonetheless, interior New England going to get some snow. Again, we'll show you those snow totals coming up. But that system going to ride towards Cape Cod and then bring some heavy rain closer to the coast, maybe a few flakes as the system moves out, and then the colder air rushes in on the backside. And by the way, most of the country is going to be super, super cold, at least on Thanksgiving, and then that'll trickle down into the South as we move into the day on Friday into the weekend. So speaking of Friday, that system then moves itself off of the coastline and head towards Nova Scotia, New Brunswick. That means the heavier snow potential then slides towards northern Vermont, northern New Hampshire, a lot of Maine, into New Brunswick, and then into Nova Scotia as well, the northern tip of Nova Scotia. So that white shaded area there, that's where we're going to be looking for some snow. And again, we'll take a look at the totals in just 1 second. I just want to give everybody an idea of what they can expect. So as that system slides up on Friday, again, if you're having a short visit at Grandma's house and you're coming back on Friday, things are looking nice across most of the country. The deal becomes, and when we talk about major trouble spots, it's going to be right in here. The Great Lakes region, no doubt. Lake effect snow machine is going to crank up. So we're talking about major impacts off of Lake Erie, Lake Ontario, Lake Michigan. Of course, we have the rest of the Great Lakes as well. Lake Huron and Lake Superior, of course, all cranked up with the lake effect snow machine. What the deal is here, we have record warmth on most, if not all, of the Great Lakes right now for the certain time, and we have a very cold air mass going over the warm lakes, and that's how you generate lake effect snow. So on the backside of that storm impacting interior New England, the wind is going to shift out of the west northwest and then come across the warm lakes. We talk about the word fetch, where that's the greatest distance that the wind takes over the lake. So the bigger the fetch, the bigger potential you're going to have for lake effect snow, given that the wind isn't too strong, or that the difference in temperature between a couple thousand feet above your head and the lake is adequate, and it is more than adequate in this time. So everywhere you see the red here, from Marquette to Sault Ste. Marie, into Sudbury, Owen Sound, Cleveland, Akron, Erie, Pennsylvania, Buffalo, New York, and I think really south of the Buffalo area, maybe toward Orchard Park again, and really south with that westerly wind off of Lake Erie. I think that's where we're going to get the jackpot totals here. And then same deal downwind of Lake Ontario. You see highlighted around the Watertown area. I think Syracuse, we get snow out of this, but I think north of Syracuse is going to be the heaviest time. So that is going to be the major impacts. Certainly Grand Rapids, Kalamazoo, we are going to be in on that as well. I just think the worst of the worst here, the heaviest amount of snow where feet could be possible from Traverse City north into the UP of Michigan. So that is going to be the lake effect snow machine. That settles in on Friday and then stays with us all the way into the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. So again, big time issues if you're trying to leave places like Erie, Pennsylvania, Buffalo, anywhere in Western Michigan again, upstate New York, off of Lake Ontario. Saturday's travel, again, looking great for most of the country. You see from the Pacific Northwest, from Seattle into Montana, into California, into Texas, jumping all over the place, but we're looking good. Florida through the deep south, awesome weather through Thanksgiving as well. We're going to add another little trouble spot, a little stripe of snow is going to be possible coming out of St. Louis and then into Kentucky, into Virginia, Western North Carolina, and Eastern Tennessee. Just as a side note, we're certainly thinking of everybody still impacted by Hurricane Helene. I know the situation's dire there. We're talking about a major blast of cold air and snow coming to those areas hit. So hopefully the word is getting out that we're going to get this major blast of Arctic air and snow there. So we're thinking about everybody in Western North Carolina and Tennessee and the mountains there that were decimated by Hurricane Helene. Back to the travel impacts again. So you're going to have that moderate impact from places from Missouri into southern Illinois, into southern Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee, western Virginia, and southern West Virginia. Still the major trouble spots, though. Just like what we were talking about a second ago, it's going to be off of the Great Lakes into the UP of Michigan, off of Lake Ontario, off of Lake Erie. And again, this is, I think, your jackpot total here from Jamestown, New York to Erie, Ashtabula, Mentor, Akron, or just north of Akron, I should say, with the highest opportunity there. And then anywhere that's a western, off of the western facing slope, or western facing water, I should say, because you have the cold wind blowing over a very warm Lake Superior. So anywhere downwind that's kind of due west-southwest is going to get crushed with that lake effect snow machine there. The setup for Saturday, kind of a quick clipper system, and this is going to bring in the big Arctic blast that's going to follow for Saturday into Sunday and then through early next week for a lot of the eastern two-thirds of the country. That snow stripe there coming from central South Dakota through Omaha into parts of southwest Iowa, into St. Louis, through Kentucky, Virginia, North Carolina, again into Tennessee, and then that blast of cold slides in behind that. It is going to be frigid. All right, so I know some of that was rapid fire, but I know a lot of you guys are interested in the snow mounts. We're going to take some time. We're going to bounce around. This is through Thursday now, and of course, where you see the brighter colors, that's naturally where we're talking about the highest amounts of snow. And again, we'll head to the Great Lakes. We'll head to that stripe of snow that's coming through the St. Louis area as well in just 1 second. So please bear with me if you're still with me, by the way, and you're finding this content helpful. Please hit that thumbs up button. We have a lot of good conversations here. I'm very responsive in the comment section. So if you have any questions, please post them in the comments. I'll get back to you guys and just want to chat about the weather. That's why we're here. That's why this channel exists. Now over 100,000 strong, building the best weather community on YouTube. Snowfall. Anyway, bullseye here, 12 to 18 inches of snow in southern Vermont. We'll take you a little bit closer in. That's going to be, let me get the telestrator off here so I can move the map. Good for ski country. I know we have struggled as of late, especially early in the season. So the resorts around Rutland, we're looking good. 12 to 18 inches on the higher elevations, 8 to 12 in Rutland itself, towards Claremont, Springfield, Rockingham, 8 to 12 inches of snow. That is going to be on the southern end of that, the quicker end of that. Conway into New Hampshire, we're looking at 8 to 12 inches of snow, 12 to 18 inches of snow around Franklin, Lebanon. Again, that is going to be in New Hampshire. I will zoom out to show you a little bit more. Now, let me roll this out to Friday so I can show you what this does. This is through now Friday night. And you see the bullseye of the heaviest snow kind of right through central Maine. Let's zoom back in so we can kind of get a gauge here of where the heaviest snow is going to fall. So there you go in Millinocket. Take a look at you guys. 12 to 18 inches going to be possible here. And right all down just to the west there of the highway. Banger, we get in on this. Not as much as certainly just here north and west. We're going to have some of that rain snow mix, but about 4 to 8 inches. Lewiston, about 8 to 12 inches of snow as well. Most of the heavy stuff, again, staying to the north and west of Brunswick and Portland, Sanford, and Rochester. We'll take you now all the way out through the period. And I have this model run through Sunday. So this is going to encompass the heaviest snow now through the entire Thanksgiving travel period. And you can clearly see what's going on here. Look at the colors. We talked about the bright pink. This is going to be the nasty stuff here. So if you have to travel from Buffalo to Rochester, and I mentioned this before, I'm getting ahead of myself. We're going to go northeast to southwest. I like to jump around a lot, so just yell at me if I'm doing that too much. Post in the comments. We're going to start here off of Lake Ontario. Again, if you're traveling, big time issues along the highway, that's what we were talking about, feet possible. You guys around the lake effect snow belt, if you will, you know what can happen here. 30 to 40 inches, and that could be underdoing it, honestly, around Richland, around Watertown. Oswego, again, just to the south of that, 8 to 12 inches of snow. Syracuse, about 2 to 4, because that wind is out of the west. For our big snows, we need that wind to be out of the north and west. We'll take you a little bit further back now, closer to the Buffalo area. And again, the wind off of Lake Erie is more like this. When we get our big snows in the Buffalo area, downtown Buffalo, we have the wind out of the south and west. It's hard to see that color. Let me change my telestrator back to white, and we'll slice. So Buffalo downtown, you want the wind to be out of the west, southwest. This is going to be kind of more like the west, southwest, and that is going to generate the heaviest snow, likely to the south of the metro. I think we're getting something in Buffalo. Don't get me wrong. So places like Orchard Park, typically, again, where you see the video of people shoveling out the Bills Stadium, we're going to get crushed potentially. Around Boston into Concord, this is in New York again, right around Collins and Brant, 12 to 18 inches of snow. I think there's the potential for more. I think the big ticket winners here, right off of Lake Erie, in Erie, Pennsylvania, through Portland, New York. Look at this. Dunkirk, 18 to 24 inches of snow, 24 to 30 inches around Erie, 18 to 24 in Fairview. Conneaut, Ashtabula, same kind of deal. We'll take you back towards Cleveland, and the wind isn't that right for us. Again, we need the kind of more of the northwesterly wind. It's more out of the west. That's why we get crushed just upwind there. Let's take you into Cleveland. We're still going to get some snow, 2 to 4 inches. Likely in Akron, we're going to get a little bit of snow too. Certainly nowhere near the main event off of Lake Erie. All right, we're going to bounce back around here and take you into parts of Michigan. Where are we here? There's so many colors on the map because this is going to be a crazy event. In terms of the snowfall, we'll start in the mid, get you close in here to Traverse City. We talked about the highlight or that red area. I think we'll have the opportunity for 4 to 8 inches to the west of Traverse City, likely more likely 8 to 12 inches are right around Traverse City as well. Petoskey, 8 to 12. That potential is going to be there for a little bit higher as well. A lot of times the model forecast underdoes lake effect snow because there's so much going on. A lot of times you get the thunder snow, and when you get thunder snow, those snow rates get up to 3 to 4 inches per hour. We'll take you into the UP of Michigan, Sault Ste. Marie. We were highlighted in the red before. 12 to 18 inches. Would not be surprised, though, if we could push 2 feet of snow in Sault Ste. Marie. And then through Marquette, this is going to be kind of weird. Let's go to continue through the UP of Michigan as well, get you a little closer in and get more towns to pop up. Right around Rock River, 12 to 18 inches. Marquette, 4 to 8 inches. We'll have an opportunity to go above that as well. And it's all depending upon the wind. If the wind shifts just a little bit more, we will get more snow in Marquette, but certainly a lot of the UP of Michigan. If you can see that highlight right through here. I know it's kind of hard to see with the colors there, but a whole lot of snow to the west of Marquette as well off of Lake Superior. We'll take it closer to Bergland, 12 to 18, Wakefield at about 12 to 18 inches. So a whole lot of snow coming off of the Great Lakes. We'll take you back down to this narrow stripe of snow. This is going to be what comes through on Saturday. So it's nothing crazy, but certainly when you add 2 to 4 inches of snow, when there's a lot of cars on the road, that is why we have that moderate travel impact. And again, for the most part, we have a general 1 to 2 inches, maybe more like 1 to 3 inches with a few isolated 4 to 5 inches if that clipper system can overachieve. Sometimes they do overachieve, but more likely than not, they don't put a ton of snow down because they're moving faster and they're coming from a moisture starved region off of the Canadian Rockies. Mentioned, I guess I should show you guys this. This is through the period too, mainly for the uh, earlier part of the snow, but northern Pennsylvania going to get in on a little bit. St. Mary's, Bradford, Warren, 4 to 8 inches. So a decent little snowstorm for you guys too, with that system coming Thanksgiving and then into Friday. It's too warm, way too warm again for any kind of snow on the I-95 corridor. And that's what we're kind of looking at for the through Thanksgiving travel period. You can clearly see lake effect snow machine because of that upper low situated about right here, blasting that Arctic cold over the very warm and in most cases record warm lakes. That is going to do some business. Likely going to be some thunder snow on the east side of those lakes with that westerly wind. Post in the comments what the weather's doing right now. If you're traveling, be safe. I want to wish you guys all a happy Thanksgiving. And we kind of bounced around quick, but I wanted to get out a lot of information in a short amount of time so you could use this guide if you are traveling on your way back. Again, the major trouble spot and the major issues you're going to have are going to be closer to the Great Lakes and then on Thursday and Friday in interior New England with the start of it all with that bigger snowstorm. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. Have a happy Thanksgiving. Share this with your friends. We'll talk soon.